Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Heisenflay here, and I promised I would branch out a bit and talk about something that I don't usually talk about, so here I am. Ladies and gentlemen, today I will be talking about something that I've only mentioned in passing, but is still very near and dear to my heart. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Now, my history with My Little Pony is in some ways long, but in other ways pretty brief. My first exposure to the My Little Pony franchise was a movie that was on a DVD that was somewhere in the back of my closet in like an old house, probably still rotting there to this day. It was most likely Gen 2 or Gen 3. I was probably like 3 or 4 at the time, and the most I could remember was some light blue male pony crying because he was chased down and framed for something he didn't do. And as for Gen 4, the subject of today's video for the most part, well, well, I watched the first episode when it aired, and I was possibly maybe a little over 10. Um, I, I however, I don't think I watched the other episodes. I remember nothing from the first episode though. However, in my early teens, I got involved with a community a fair bit. I saw a few cool OCs and some really nice art. But yeah, until now, My Little Pony has sort of just been sitting in the back of my mind, and every so often, I just remember it and use maybe one of the characters, maybe one of the settings in one of my roleplay games, mainly Loda. But that is until now. My newest version of Loda, the Half Star Saber, the people of Equestria make up a good chunk of the main cast, and Equestria itself is the main setting. And as you may be able to tell, I really like MLP, and now I'm going to tell you why. If it isn't obvious already, I am reading from a script. It may not sound super organic, but it's just better that way. I trail off a whole lot less. Why do I love MLP? First and foremost, the characters. The characters of My Little Pony are amazing. There are so many of them, and they are the thing that makes the show so amazing to me. They're like the main draw for me. I really love characters and good narratives. That's like one of my favorite things about most of the properties I take interest in. My personal favorites are Twilight, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Rarity, Trixie, Starlight, Sunset, Sweetie Belle, Diamond Tiara, Button Mash, Rumble, and Flurry Heart. Now those are a lot, but all of these characters have something to give, at least to me, whether it be a cool design, an interesting personality, or a memorable song. Speaking of which, the music. The music of My Little Pony is, well, it's just beautiful. Songs like "We'll Make Our Mark," "Pony I Wanna Be," "The Magic Inside" are all some of my favorites, and all of them are objectively great pieces of music. They all have something to like about them. Like, I don't know much about music per se, but MLP music goes hard. Not as hard as Armored Core music or Gundam music, but in my opinion, it's personally much better than Patlabor music or Azur Lane music. Um, and the music does more than just please the ears, however. Most tracks actually help shed light on certain characters, add to the overall narrative, or or do their own fair share of world building. Segueing into the next point of why I love My Little Pony, the world building and the lore. MLP's world is very cool. I love Equestria's general layout, and the different places that are often shown are very interesting. There are a lot of diverse different. There are a lot of diverse species, a lot of diverse animals, and in general, there's so much to be interested in, and so much just dense lore to get lost in. Really, it's all very interesting, and I highly recommend reading up on the lore or taking a look at or just watching the show. Actually, there's a very good lore video that's almost an hour long, or more than an hour long. I'll put it in the pinned comment or in the description. But it's this massive, but it's basically a lore video that goes into detail on basically the entire history of the world, and it's very good. It's really good. I really like it. Hold on. And I think it's a very good place to start if you want to jump into the lore. Yeah, the lore is dense, but it still has room for things like prequels, side stories, and of course, canonically plausible fanfics. Which, if that doesn't really make sense, fanfics that actually canonically could fit in. So that leads me into my next point as to why My Little Pony is just so great to me. The community. The MLP community is a great place. There are fun animations, not like Smile HD. That is horrifying. Great artists like Lil Miss J, Hooves Art, and S Frog. The last two are NSFW artists, so if you're below 18 watching this video, which if you are, why are you here? Do not check them out if you're below 18. And there are some great voice actors like Scribbler, The Lost Narrator, and Cloud9. Or is it Life on Cloud9? I don't exactly remember full names. Not to mention the showrunners and the official voice actors who've done a lot for the community, gone to, a lot of the cons and whatnot. They're all great. One of my favorite parts of this amazing community is fan fictions and the OCs that they give life to. Home Sweet Home, Candy Mare's Tale, I believe it's called, is still one of my favorites to this day. That I just love to listen to readings of it. Sometimes I'll even read it myself and read it aloud, which is not something that I do for any other piece of media. Well, except for like Gundam or Armored Core related pieces of media. But even then, I don't read them aloud. Yeah, it's legitimately just a good piece, and I really like it. Also, any fic that makes good use of Bloodmash as a character is a good fic in my book. If you know any besides like Imaginary Friend or Grogar or Heartswarming Tale, please tell me about them, by all means. The community has had a profound effect on my life, and as a result, will no doubt have effects on my channel. Well, how does MLP tie into my channel? This part specifically is for those of you who might be coming from, my Armored Core videos, and, my Gundam videos or my Azur Lane videos. And, well, I'm here to tell you just how and why Armored Core ties into this channel besides the fact that I just like it. Well, Tara Strong has had some voice roles in Armored Core, which include Fran Batty, character called Angie, and CPU-1 from Armored Core 5. And in Armored Core Verdict Day, she was able to play the CPU voice. These are both according to the voice actor and voiceover wiki and IMDb. Hiroshi Shirokuma is the Japanese voice actor of Evangelion Armored Core Nexus and Roy Saland in Armored Core for Answer, both in the Japanese versions, but is also the Japanese voice actor of Big Mac, which if I ever scrounge up the money, I have to get Big Mac's Japanese voice actor to do some of Roy or Evangel's lines. I just have to. If no one else will, I do. And Tabitha St. Germain, the English voice actor for Rarity, Applejack, and Luna, according to the My Little Pony wiki on fandom, which I know fandom is a bit controversial to some, so I don't know if it's exactly, something I should take verbatim, but according to both fandom and IMDb, she is the voice actor for Flay Alster from Gundam Seed, and I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that she has a voice role in Seed Destiny and in Double O. I don't know who she played in Seed Destiny, but in Double O, I'm pretty sure she played Soma Pires, which is really cool. I have to commission or make some art myself of Rarity cosplaying Soma. What else? Oh yes, Half Star Saber. I mentioned Half Star Saber earlier, but Half Star Saber is the newest version of Loda, or Side Zero as you all may know it. Which is my own personal work of fiction. Essentially, it started off as a role-play game, and now I'm looking to turn it into an actual full TV show. An animated production of sorts. I don't know that much about animation, so obviously it's going to be a bit bumpy, but I really want to get it done. I haven't told you much about Half Star Saber since it's still, very, very, very new. Essentially, Half Star Saber follows main character Cabalus, a Woundwort. I've talked about them in the past. It follows Cabalus Wuko Banyashi, the prince of the White Rabbit Woundworts, and as he is sent to Equestria by his mother to reestablish contact with the outside world, because Woundwardia, for a long time, has been cut off from everyone else after a massive event known as the Woundwardian Panic, obviously taking a bit of inspiration from the Satanic Panic, an event, well, the Woundwardian Panic was an event where, essentially, the Woundworts, under a different leader, of course, came to the stand-in for America, which is Superia, the predominantly human country, and tried to take it over. Of course, the human forces and the superheroes, which are the main law enforcement of Superia at this point, they managed to fend off the Woundwort forces, but ever since, humans have been very wary of Woundworts, but they haven't heard anything from them, to the point where people are doubting if they even still exist. But Cabalus makes his way to Equestria and makes contact with the Woundworts and becomes friends with Twilight Sparkle. and the series is basically from there supposed to focus on the hijinks of the Elements of Harmony crew with Cabalus, and of course, I try to stay faithful to the actual show, but of course things would obviously take a bit of a turn at a certain point. And then, as for and then of course, uh, and then of course, um, MLP's light similarities to Azur Lane and Gundam. Obviously, um, both Azur Lane and Gundam have very strong female characters, and despite Gundam having mostly male protagonists, still has quite a strong girl power angle, in a similar way to My Little Pony. Tomino himself has actually thanked all of the Gundam's female audience for Gundam, of course, being as large as it is, and um, and says that, and I don't know if he said this directly, but I'm sort of paraphrasing here. He says that Gundam itself is, well, most Gundam series are actually dedicated to the female fans of Gundam, which is really cool. Besides that, Azur Lane has an almost all-female cast. Pretty much every character is a woman. I don't know if the commander character is ever shown in Azur Lane, but assuming that he is at some point, I'm going to say mostly, if not like 90% of the cast are women. I'm just looking over my keybinds one more time. And as for another thing, which might be just might be like a bit of a stretch, Azur Lane and Gundam and MLP, even Armored Core at times, have some strong themes of just like togetherness and being able to overcome, any sort of like threat if we all just work together. And you know, and My Little Pony is like, it's all about friendship and harmony. Gundam's more about anti-war and being able to end conflict through understanding. And Azur Lane in general is just about standing together in the face of adversity, as far as I remember. Armored Core has a bit less of these themes. Armored Core 6 has a bit more, togetherness and teamwork, sort of like, we can get through this if we just work with one another sort of things, but it's in general a bit more pessimistic than these other two. But all three of those series, all three of their overlying tone, all three of their overlying underlying tones and overarching messages can be thrown under themes of togetherness and teamwork, and I think that's really cool, and it also ties them all together and ties them into my channel, since Gundam and Azur Lane are things that I talk about quite a bit. Now, those were all things in my script, but I'm going to see if I can think of any more ties between Armored Core and My Little Pony off the top of my head. Well, first and foremost, there's the art. There's quite a bit of art in the community of Rainbow Dash using the grind blade. Well, multiple My Little Ponies using the multiple pony characters using the grind blade from Armored Core 5 and Verdict Day. I don't know if the grind blade was in 5. I think it might have been. And There's also at least one art piece that I know of Rainbow Dash being strapped to a Vanguard Overboost unit. And there's quite a bit of screenshots on Derpy of people's ACs and Armored Core 5 utilizing, people's ACs in Armored Core 5 having My Little Pony colors, and of course having emblems that are either cutie marks or character faces. I don't know what's going on with. I honestly don't know what's going on with Master of Arena right now, but don't exactly know. I don't think any other voice actors from My Little Pony were in Armored Core. If they were, feel free to tell me. I can't think of anything else that would really strengthen the connection between any of the 4 to 5 topics that I usually have on this channel. So I guess I'm just going to do my outro. I was going to test out this Twilight AC that I made, but apparently that's off the table. Sorry. I knew you were all just jumping at the chance to see it. Well, I'm glad you all have come. I hope that my predominantly Armored Core audience enjoys this video. And I hope that you all enjoy. Feel free to support me by clicking the usual funny buttons below the video. The next video, it won't be on Armored Core. I have a few topics to choose from, and I'm sort of thinking Pat Labor for my next video. Maybe even frame arms, possibly frame arms. It's not something that I've explicitly written down, but I've actually found a document. Well, not a document, but a Reddit post that explains the entire lore of frame arms. Which, if you did not know it had lore, do not feel bad. I didn't know either, but it does have lore. So I might go over that. That might be the next video. My next video might be even more My Little Pony related content. It might be about Half Star Saber as well, which, I've been afraid about going into detail about it, since I know it's not something that anyone else knows about. So I'm afraid it might not pull all of you in. You might not all be interested in it, but I'm feeling like I probably should. It's just better. And unlike Side Zero, I'm not gonna drip feed info. I'm going to, create a comprehensive video of Half Star Saber, its general lore, and what I plan to happen in the series. Of course, I'll try to avoid any major twists, but unlike Side Zero, there aren't that many major twists. I'm not going to try and fail to be M. Night Shyamalan here. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'm sorry this outro has been so long-winded, and I hope this video is a digestible length. My other videos have been quite short. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.